Gee, I like Jack Redden. He's had the ball 8 times. Out of those 8, 6 of them have been contested possession. He just rips in balls in.
Second quarter underway. This time it's Leuenberger up against Sandilands, and it favoured Sandilands, and he easily got it down to Barlow. Off to Hill. Now De Boer. Could this be an opening quick goal for the Dockers? Punch back, still with possession. Mzungu looking for De Boer. Lester is there. De Boer's tough, we know that. And that ball's out off of Stephen Hill.
Wasn't that a great tackle on the board? Just got the finger on the collar of his jumper, and normally you can do finger ligaments turn. I think we've all done them during our career. Split webbing, yeah. Whatever.
Leuenberger in front that time. There's Redden. You talked about him, Dermot.
He's a super kid. Was that one in the back as he got rid of it? Yep. I must say, Shorey, I've seen some of the world's worst injuries on a footy field. The only thing that turned my stomach, split webbing. Oh, I hated seeing that.
So again, the Lions showing some patience and trying to switch. Does drive it low, Maguire.
A little bit skinny, but got to the target.
Yep. Now Leuenberger working hard from one side to the other. McGrath spots Beams. Down the line, that's a good hit. Banfield the target.
Rich is running hard. That's one thing he's got to get into his game even more so than what he's doing right now.
That's a free kick against, I think.
Yeah, Merritt's won that. I must admit, there were two.
I think he's got it wrong here, boys, because I think they just bumped into each other.
Well,
did he go out of the way there?
They're saying Zach Dawson made contact too early before the ball. I tell you what, very soft, Jacko.
It is soft, but as a player, Zach Dawson just had to hold his ground and let the ball go over or read it better and take the mark.
Tell you what, you wouldn't have been All-Australian 11 times if you played like that and got free kicks like that against you.
Has changed a little bit since our time.
Zach Dawson's gone forward at times. If you just tuned in, you'd say, who's playing on who? Oh yeah, well, there's a backman.
You've just tuned in. Nothing's changing footy. Fullback still can't kick. That's a shocker.
I'll tell you what, either of these teams who starts to use the ball well from between 40 and 70 metres will blow the game apart.
One for the footy gods there, I think. I didn't think that was a free kick. Mzungu. Main, so good overhead. He's really indecisive, though.
Yeah, the flow, they've done well, Brisbane. They've just moved up the line a couple of times, switched over well, and see, they're going sideways now, Freo. That's the issue.
Yeah, as Brisbane run straight down the middle and clog it up down the other end.
Duffield. Patford just got rid of him, and that's stayed in. Some backspin on the Titleist there. And the kick hasn't stayed in, so a poor kick from Adcock under pressure, with no pressure. One
possession so far at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter for Pavlich.
Talking about possessions in that 5, 6 possessions, all handballs, no kicks. So Brisbane have been certainly doing a good job on him.
Look at this already. The opening 60 seconds, Fremantle came out, played on, laid some ripping tackles. It was really urgent. Already Brisbane have got them into this mark kick static game. Another one, boundary line throw-in.
Happy to see it towards the boundary line.
They've done it well. They've done it well. The forward pressure. The other thing about it too is that when they do get the ball, Brisbane, the Fremantle Dockers aren't manic like a Carlton were last night about just going at the man. That makes you turn the ball over quicker. It's just not enough pressure on the ball for Brisbane, I think, at the stage too.
And even though they're doing this, I still like the fact that Brisbane are having Brown ahead of the ball. They've still got a target should they go forward.
Chance for Mellington. He wants it to curl. It doesn't. It doesn't come back. So 1 goal, 5 for the Dockers. Margin is 2.
Did that well, Mellington.
The big forwards in Pavlich and Brown not into the game as yet, but it hasn't been many opportunities for them.
3 possessions for Brown, 1 for Pavlich.
Chance for the Dockers here. Spills out the back towards Beams. He didn't take it, and he's fortunate to get a free kick.
Geez, they like the ink, the Beams boys, don't they?
I think they're trying to outdo each other. They can both kick and kick long.
Yeah, he got a bit close to the man on the mark there.
Oh, that's a free kick.
Beats everyone.
That Jonathan Brown that was a shepherd off, hopefully, to get Sandilands in the marking contest.
And it's poor, Shorey, that they don't pay that, because when you look at Zach Dawson's one, I think that one had more merit for a free kick than the one against Zach Dawson.
Sandilands winning that. Mzungu first to it. And Again, some pressure, forcing the kick out of bounds on the full. It's not pretty at the moment.
No, it's not. But it is like a game of chess. It's going to be the side that sort of... I think they get their hands in the players who can run the lines and break the lines, which will help you get deeper into your forward 50.
So Drummond to Adcock. In turn, he'll push it wider to McGrath.
First quarter, the Brisbane Lions, it's almost like they want their best team on the ground for as long as they can. They only made, well, in this day and age, 24 interchanges, which is running at less than 100 for the game. So it'd suggest that they want the best players for this setup, for this, the carrying out of this plan to hold the ball up.
It's a good spoil, wasn't it, from Subban, because Longer had the height.
This is Keepman's off. Brisbane are saying you might play in a zone, but we'll just keep pinpointing players within those gaps. And if your zone doesn't work well enough, we'll try and break you down that way. I tell you, it's a patient game plan.
Spot on.
It's not a great spectacle, but it's like I said, a game of chess.
I love Ross Lyon as a coach, but you won't get many Ross Lyon participated games that are great spectacles.
Clearing kick from Crowley. Again, it's out of bounds. My query for the Lions is, can they keep it up for 4 quarters at 26
degrees? That's the worry.
Yeah.
That's why I had a look at the interchange. And if you're going to keep your best players on the ground pretty well most of the time to try and carry this plan out. They're still a young team with Redden and those boys in the middle. They're still young men. We haven't spoke of that.
There is Redden getting it to Rains. He's got no room to move with Fife, and he sees it over again.
The other thing too, Sandilands, he's getting his hand on the ball. He's being, well, double teamed at the moment, but they're not running from the contest. They're not getting a clear run from the blokes like Hill and that who do that well haven't been involved in the game as they should.
Yeah, Sandilands, you're right, is winning most of them, but it's getting into the neutral zone like this.
And I think this suits Brisbane a little bit more. They're not great at contested ball, but
Harwood fished it out. Fife, quick hands. Very quick hands to Barlow. Now a chance for the Dockers. Onto the chest of Clark.
But he's got a
2-on-1 on Pavlich.
Yeah, he's got a 1-on-2 in favour of Brisbane.
Should spoil this, and he does. And it goes out. No chance there for Pav whatsoever.
I know a lot of critics have said that they want to see, me included, Matthew Pavlich play more as a full forward or deep forward, but I think in a game like now, he needs to go into the midfield and start to win some clean possession for him.
A recipe for success. 2 greens there for Fremantle in the possessions and the tackles, but the efficiency's been good from the Lions. Can they keep it up here? McGrath.
Yeah, good vision.
Redden, closed down by Duffield. Tried to give it back to McGrath. Sandilands, a hand on it. O'Brien. McGrath, a third effort.
He did well.
Hard work from him. Adcock, Polkinghorn, steps around. Now Long, looking for Leuenberger. How will it bounce? De Boer goes back. It keeps going. De Boer's got to go all the way back to the line.
This is a tough possession, this one.
And he takes the percentage. It's a good one because there's 3 Dockers to pick from. Mazungu's one. Subban another.
Oh, they are seized up here.
I'll tell you what, Leuenberger, boys, you can just see him on the left-hand side of the screen. He's limping. I don't know, he might have done a calf muscle here. He waved to the bench. He wants to come off. He could not chase then.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
He's gone.
Just in the middle of your screen. There it is.
He waved to the bench, Matty.
Yeah. But it wasn't really a contest when he ran back to that, so you would assume that it's soft tissue. Look at that mass of players following that footy.
On the outer side, we have another boundary throw in as the Doctor tries to get out.
Oh, here he is.
You get a replay of this. He's running freely there. Oh, yeah, that's soft tissue. No contact, and he just gave the little hop.
So either a hamstring or a calf probably for...
I think calf muscle the way. Look, he didn't grab for a hammy, which you normally do.
For Leuenberger. So Billy Longer in his opening game, his first game of AFL footy, now will be one-on-one with Sandilands. Maguire over the back. It falls for Leicester. This kick has to be spot on.
It was.
It is to McGrath. He goes back in the middle.
They've got to do something about their forward line, Fremantle. I agree with Jacko. Keep 3 players inside deep. I know they're trying their zone defensively, but you're not going to score the way that the Brisbane Lions are playing at the moment, so something's got to break sooner or later. I'd go with a 3-man structure inside 50.
Again, it's patient Brisbane Lions outfit, trying to just keep
Shocking
possession. Pearce. But as we've seen with the Lions, they'll kick to the boundary. And
Set up. Swarm it with numbers.
I wonder how much of this has been Mark Harvey's input, boys, about, you know, maybe some of the midfielders of Freo aren't great at defending going both ways. And when you zone off, you sort of give a licence not to be good in that area.
holding the ball, be a Dockers chance here, and they're away quickly. Barlow, Ibbotson, 55 metres out, kicks to the top of the square. There's a little nudge there from Padfield. It's been seen. It was there, and Pavlich will get into the game, and he could put the Dockers in front at last.
Didn't have to do that, I don't think. I don't think he had to do that. We'll see it probably again in replay. But
Tony, you've got to assess as a backman. If you've got 2-on-1 situation, just hold the ground, let the ball come to the ground. You should win it 9 times out of 10. So poor free kick by Brisbane.
Well, what you do, Jacko, you know, as a defender, being the bloke behind you, you call the bloke in front in, he might get killed, but you don't mark. They don't mark the ball.
What I hated as a forward was when the backman walked you into the bloke in front, and it takes away your ability to jump, and that means the bloke right at the very back controls the issue. Didn't have to push it.
11 minutes into the second quarter. Pavlich is on the board. Dockers hit the front.
Well, take us through this, Durham, because I understand exactly what should happen here.
Well, what Padfield needs to do is, with his chest, keep pushing and walking Pavlich into the back of Goose Maguire. See how Maguire's come back?
He was never going to mark that, was he, Pavlich?
Well,
no.
It takes away. See, if he comes back there, it just walks him into it. He can't jump. His knee goes into Maguire's rump, and Padfield controls the issue from behind.
So Pavlich gets the goal, and Padfield has a bit of a chat to him on the bench at sideline level. Jacko Pollock warming up for Brisbane, so that would assume that Leuenberger's got a big problem.
Yeah, he's in the hands of the trainer still now, so they're looking at that lower limb. Pretty sure it is a calf.
Clearance from Polkinghorn. Brown nudged out of it by McFarlane. Clean hands, well done. Goes back. Maybe that'll spark Fremantle into some serious running here. McPhee.
This is the way they want to play. They've outnumbered them. If he goes down the line here, Johnson's on the goal side of his opponent.
Misses the target, and again it goes out.
That was the first time it just broke free the way Fremantle want it, to get a little bit of fluency in the way they bring the ball forward. Now Brisbane sees it up with numbers again. Big pack.
Rockcliffe just got it away and did okay, Rockcliffe, because playing in front was O'Brien. And he has a shot at goal to put Brisbane back in front.
Brisbane have activated their sub. Jared Pollock's taken off his green vest, and he's warming up on the boundary line, guys.
Jacko, this ground, I walked out there before the game. You go to Sydney,
it's
and
big.
that 50-metre line touches the square. Look at the distance between the centre square.
It's 13 metres, Dermot.
It's huge, this ground.
Well, we've seen a shank from Merritt, and we've seen a shank from O'Brien.
Place out.
Couldn't get there, Banfield. So 2 shots at goal haven't even gone close for the Lions, but they may send it back in quickly. Leicester spun out of trouble, but spun back into it. Ash McGrath, 3 or 4 Dockers in the way.
That's better pressure from the Dockers.
Maguire got rid of Fife.
Well, he got cannoned there, Nate Fife. He got one from in front.
Oh, he's done his shoulder or something.
And a knee from behind. You know what? It wasn't a malicious bump.
Oh.
It just took him down, and he got a knee in the back from the player behind.
Free kick off the ball. Sorry, don't. Free kick off the ball going to Brisbane. There's a bit of a scuffle, and it ends up with McGrath. Now the big switch. They take it out wide. Beams. Can he hit a target? He can, but Merritt's still too far out to score.
He might be better this distance out, Matty.
Well, his last kick was a shocker.
There he goes. He didn't want to have a kick. Come on, you've got to be better than that.
Drummond squeezing it to Rich. Now, Rich kicked a beauty in the first quarter. This one's a tougher one, though.
You got to, I don't know, as a senior player, that you just do not want to kick the ball because your confidence is shattered. And I know he gave it a drum.
Jacko, this forward pocket, I always felt for an enormous ground, this forward pocket was one of the more shallow ones, which you really could get a shot at goal.
You just keep it low and like this one.
Well, there's another one out on the full from the Lions.
That's his first possession, Daniel Rich, in this quarter. They need a lift from him.
But you have a point, Dermot, because of the 3-tier stand, you are protected from the southerly winds.
So both teams with some injury concerns for key players. Leuenberger for the calf and Fife for the shoulder. We'll just keep an eye on the Fremantle bench to see what happens with Fife. Lions have had 3 set shots in this second quarter and haven't troubled the scorer.
I'll say it again, Matty. I reckon the Brisbane Lions have defended brilliantly as zoning to stop the ball coming out in the switch.
Mzungu playing in front.
See, well, where that ball dropped, there was about 6-4 in favour of Fremantle. Now they have to wait for the numbers to move away because they're outnumbered a kick away from where Mzungu marks it.
Here's the first switch. I reckon it's only been pure Dermy.
And they look down the line and it's man on man.
Pearce, kick was short and the kick let them down.
A few spot fires out here, boys. Goose McGuire in as Zach Clark. The emergency umpires come out to him. See, he's picked him off the offs here and didn't have a chance, Nat Fife, to brace himself. But
bumped him on the shoulder, though. He didn't go for head. Yeah. Go on, Jacko.
Would you get Dave Mundy into the game now, so even though, let's say, Nat 5 is OK, given the fact they get no drive out of the midfield? Or do you put Matthew Pavlich in there?
I'll go Pavo first, I think. Mundy, you want to leave maybe the second half if you can.
Well, he's just warming up down here, boys, in front of us. So
depends on Fife not coming back, of course.
Good work there by the Dockers because Brisbane were pressing and they've held firm and held strong. And now Johnson with what could only be described as an airy.
It's horrible. Oh, that's a bad handball.
And that's a bad handball from Rockcliffe. So the last 3 or 4 minutes there's been some deterioration in talent.
Now if we... OK. On the plate.
Brown and McFarlane. And we'll have a throw in inside the forward 50.
If we pull away from this, if you look behind there was 1, 2, 3, 4 Brisbane players on defensive side of that pack by themselves.
Yep.
So they're running numbers to the side. They're not just saying, let's choke it up. They're there ready to pick up the Dockers players that come through.
Free kick to Daniel Rich.
Falling into his back.
They handed off to Rains. It was a good little give, but they fell into his back, and now he can go back for his second.
Fremantle have activated their sub, David Mundy, into the game. He's on the interchange there, warming to come on. Nat Fife out of the game, guys.
Thanks, Jacko.
So that is... And, Jacko, from your vantage point, you reckon that shoulder had popped out?
Yeah, you could see straight away he went to the boundary, he held it, grabbed it, and you could see it was still out.
Big applause for Mundy coming back. Hasn't played any football in the pre-season, and he's out there now. Rich for his second. Kicked a beauty in the first, as I mentioned, and they've missed again, the Lions.
I tell you what, he is not a great set shot at goal, Daniel Rich. He's better on the run, and it's happened right through his career. You've got to kick that goal. Very good technician, but he likes to have the freedom of just getting the ball and taking it, with a bit of momentum through the ball.
Crowley.
Oh, boy. This is deteriorated at the moment.
Ryan Crowley is on Daniel Rich. And I reckon if you ask Gary Ablett Jr., who he dislikes being niggled by, I reckon he'd say Crowley.
Well, is this the ultimate super sub? Jared Polek, straight in the game. They give him a freebie from a kick in.
Too.
He's a left footer.
It's a beautiful kick.
And he hooks it back beautifully. Welcome to the game, Jared.
What I was saying before, any team who can kick the ball well between 40 and 70 metres will take it up to the opposition here. You think of how much we mill around in that area now. A bloke runs on, he gets a soft free kick, but he can kick it, Shorey.
I find it an intriguing contest at the moment, but just look at the way that the goals have been scored. 4 goals have been scored from free kicks, and 1 mark from Rich outside 50. It ain't great inside 50.
Hold your nerve.
Well, Ross Lyons ran out of patience. Matthew Pavlich into the middle, Mundy into the middle, Barlow into the middle, and Sandiland. So the Fab 4 are going to start in this centre bounce end, guys.
There you have it. The big guns in for this next bounce. Lions back in front by 3 points in a very low-scoring game. Merritt in the ruck. Hanley coming through, went without it. Everybody went without it. Hanley a second effort. Ibbotson wanted it. Barlow underneath. Mundy tabbing it back. Merritt got it.
So that's good.
Harwood.
See, Merritt's just fossicking around the footy and the body mass pushing it forward, tackling, and I don't mind Merritt being in there. I don't think they're going to lose all that moment. You'd love to have Leuenberger out there, but Merritt wasn't damaging as a forward. I don't think you're losing that much out of your forward line if you use him as your second ruckman in there. Free kick on play with...
Ibbotson got a push in the back from Adcock. It was a bit like a rugby rolling maul there for a little while, wasn't it? Into the forward 50. Maguire the spoil. McGrath, tough bounce. Pearce in over the top. He's grabbed. And umpire in a very good position for that.
Well, Jacko might be right. The Fab Four are in there, mainly because maybe the sub four underneath them haven't done the job.
I'd be reluctant to call a group the Fab Four until they at least play in a few finals.
So what you're saying is the Beatles had to go in because the Monkeys weren't doing very well.
And the Awesome Foursome? Oh, we're the Fab Four.
Jack, you can't tell me that they call them the Fab Four over here, do they?
No, that was just my little one.
Thank you, Jacko.
Here's one of them, though, Jacko. Mundy breaking free to Millington. Stop-start Crowley off a step.
Great kick.
Oh, beautiful kick to Pearce.
That is a great kick.
But two of those Fab Four are all Australians and best and fairest, Devon.
Yes, you're right. We've got the All-Australian full-back from about 7 or 8 years ago in one of them. Matthew Pavlich has never played full-back.
Very flexible.
Gee, I hope we can see this kick forward. You've got to watch Ash McGrath. He's got his back turned. He only had to run 2 metres to get involved in that contest. He just turned. Oh, boy.
What a beautiful
Watch the ball.
kick, though. Well weighted.
So the Dockers have only kicked 2 goals. This will be their 3rd, and Clancy Pearce will have 2 of them if he's accurate. A little stutter to 50 metres.
Oh, look at that.
Bang! Sends it sailing through. Dockers back in front.
His foot was on the paint, Shorey, and it's gone through 3/4 post height.
You can roost it. Don't worry about that.
What a great kick.
I've got to say
Really?
again. Oh, gee, that was nearly a bit of contact after the mark was taken, but nice little roost here.
He's quite explosive, isn't he?
Kicked that 70 metres. Got the sleeve too.
And the ear.
Two goals to Pearce, and it's a 3-point game, and it reverses back to a Dockers lead.
He must put an inch of ink on his arms of Clancy every time he gets a possession.
What does he get for a goal?
One behind the ear.
Rich was searching for Reigns. He can't get past. And we'll have
Gee, that was a good handball by Rich. If he'd put it in the air, he would have had hands knocking it away, but he really just hit it to the ground, knowing it was going to go straight to his teammate.
Clearance from Mundy's had an effect already. Broughton, well, he just gave it off to Pavlich on hands and knees. He squirts it out to Crowley. Good tackling in close. Touch play on the kick from Barlow. Spoil from Patfull. McGrath just wants to get it out of there and gets a torpedo flying. And out comes Brown. Beams, crumbing, ball spills, ricochets back and forth, comes to the lines, but they're not free yet. Searching handball out towards Rich. He's got to go back. Thinks about Polkinghorne, gives it to him now, but he's got nowhere to go. Good pressure, Dockers. McPhee, Crowley.
Chop their arms.
Yep.
I tell you, if the balls move quick enough to the Dockers, a few of the Brisbane Lions defenders are undersized, and they're going to do that a lot, chopping the arms, because they're really worried about being in the contest and the marking contest.
Called to play on now. Clark kicks to a contest. 2-on-1 for the Lions, though. Oh, and the one almost got there. And he has. Paid the mark. Great stuff from De Boer.
Now, if you have a look at it, though, allowing him to not have any body contact whatsoever as he lines up the man in front of him to put a knee on the shoulder. You just got to touch him side on so he won't jump like that.
He deliberately hooks it in the Pavlich direction. Hill at the back, should kick it. And sprays it across the front for a behind.
I don't know why he didn't take the instinctive shot first up.
See where that depth was on that kick? That's what Fremantle haven't been doing. They're getting inside 50, but they're not getting it to the point of, say, 20 metres out from goal where you are really dangerous. They look dangerous when they get to that spot.
Well, you just saw there that it was young Mitch Golby just trying to spoil the ball on its merits against the ball rather than just getting shoulder to shoulder and just easing him sideways as he went to jump, which totally unbalances him.
And the ball has been run out once again.
Two of the big guns in terms of the younger talent coming through that are ready to step into stardom. Leuenberger there, leaning back against it. And Nate Fyfe.
Yep, both been subbed out of the game. And the Dockers a chance to send it back in again here. McPhee down low, couldn't get it. Broughton can. Got it to Pavlich. Just managed to get boot to ball. Mundy's there.
Good mark.
Strong hands. Can kick it a long way. Can't be an advantage. It was a mark.
Oh, he's hit up behind play.
Now it's against Redden on De Boer, I think. So there's Hanley. It's a 50-metre penalty. It'd be a goal, and this will be a big lead for the Dockers in the context of the game. They're in front by 10 points.
Experienced umpire there, Brett Rosebery. He explained it. We'll have another look at it and let it run in a second.
Mundy's back. Dockers in front by 10.
Very well balanced player, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like those players who, when they compete for a mark in the air and they land on their feet. Let's have a look at it, see if we can pick it up here.
Good height.
Bang. Lands on his feet anyway. There's De Boer, picks it up. And we see he's been taken down after De Boer's. The whistle's gone and he still takes him out.
Was that Tommy Rockcliffe? That's undisciplined. Sorry, it was Redden, of course. Redden.
Yep.
Undisciplined play because, you know, you're in a tight game of football, and I think Michael Voss would be happy with the style that they're playing. It looks like Fremantle just getting out a bit, maybe because the Fab Four are in there at the moment. But that is undisciplined. That you don't need that sort of stuff in a tight game.
They've got a new drummer because Bradley's in there. Longer couldn't get the kick out, and he went second time, so he got it forward. Big spoil. Brown can't get into the game at all.
They got numbers around the footy now.
The Dockers just getting a sniff here, up by 10 points, and working extremely hard. And good little give from McPhee to Mundy. Has been very instrumental since coming on. Johnson's kick drops short. Clark got away with it, kept it in. The big man back to Johnson. Down the line he goes, no one to kick to. First to it Longer, beaten by the half volley. Packful to Lester's got a couple to pick from on the switch. One of them is Rains. He's got no one to kick to Longer, so he has to handball. Now this kick has to be spot on. Sets a task for Banfield. Doesn't get a good bounce.
Luck on the bounce.
Yeah, he wanted to go. He wanted to run. Again, McPhee.
This is played on Fremantle's terms now. They're not putting it on the board. Just the one a second ago, one goal, but
just breaking open, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what they want. You can smell a few coming their way.
Chance for Pavlich, first back to it. Managed to get the handball away as he often does. Clark, the unlikely pickpocket, back to Bradley. Chipping, man on his own, Mzungu can play on. From 55 metres out, this will be a big kick if it goes through. It's touched. And away go Brisbane quickly. Inside the last minute, 11-point game. We haven't seen a lot of free-flowing football from the Lions. They've been patient, holding it up.
I've got a feeling I heard Brett Rosebery say as the boys fell in the contest in the goal square then, it was still a kick in. He said, "Are you right, knackers?"
We might have to go back and have a listen.
I reckon he did.
If he has, he must win some sort of award.
Fantastic. We'll try and pick that up. I love it how the umpires, when you show the real human element, players respond to it better, as long as they're smart ass, because they're trying their
Yeah, I'd respond to someone who calls me knackers.
Great Australian vernacular.
I reckon he did.
There's Nat Fyfe.
Yeah, that's a shocker, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll be pretty pleased, though, the Dockers, with the way the game has gone in the last 10 minutes. They're inside the last 15 seconds, and they're up by 11 points. But if you've just joined us, that was one of the stories of the first half. Fyfe off with a shoulder injury. The other is for Brisbane, Leuenberger with a calf. Will they have time here? I don't think so. Unfortunately for De Boer, he runs out of time. But in that second quarter, 3-1 to the Dockers sees them just pinch a break here at Patersons Stadium. It's a warm afternoon. Maybe the game's going to heat up in the second half. We'll take a break and have a look at the first half after this.